Welcome to everyone here today. I'm up here. Mary is our face of welcome to the church every Sunday. She's done such a great job with this. We've got the whole church here for their member spotlight. I want to thank you both for spending your anniversary day. This is their actual anniversary day, sharing it with you all so that you could take part in it, knowing that we have the best turnout on Sundays. They said, yes, we'll do it. Thank you so much. I also want to say that this is the last member spotlight for the season of the 21-22 year. We will resume our spotlights in October, but it merits a pause to say thank you to really what has been behind this. It started with Pastor Kurt's vision and his support of going forth with the member spotlight. We, at the same time with the Gulf Breeze, were starting up and we wanted to feature a promotion for the member spotlight. So we worked in collaboration with Kurt and with April O'Leary at the time, who's also shared in that vision. And since, we've had our editorial team continue to support it, as well as the wonderful support that we've had from Billy Birch, from Dawn, who always supports him and hinges in wherever, including with me trying to get everybody together this morning. And also Dustin Hurl, who's doing a fabulous job with the slides in the background here, making it possible for them to have a really nice presentation today. So we hope to resume our member spotlights in October to start the 22-23 season. And we'll look forward to having more of these presentations, because the blessing has been from the Lord that we have been able to connect with each other, learn from each other. There hasn't been a member spotlight that we've had that we haven't learned a lot from the people who've talked with us. This has been such a great idea and a wonderful transforming event, I think, for the church to have this additional fellowship that is based on knowing each other better. Tom and Mary have such a heartwarming story today to go into and tell you about. We had a little bit of fun, actually, naming the Gulf Breeze article for you because they have reconnected after 44 years, and you're going to hear their respective journeys. But we could have named it From Hollywood and Beach Volleyball to the Gulf and Golf, and or we could have said, hello, Dolly. Nice to meet you back here in Naples. So anyway, with that, I'm going to turn it over to them because they will lead you through their respective journeys and then how it's been together. And then after that, we'll take questions, and I'll come up so that we'll have a mic to go around to get everyone's questions. Thank you, Mary and Tom.
Thank you
so much.
Christine.
Thank you, Christine.
She worked so hard, and I just want to thank her. We had so much fun, so much fun.
Our coffee dates, we're going to miss
Coffee
those.
dates.
Yes.
And Mary and your team, Becky, thank you guys. Dustin, there's the wave.
Oh.
Pastor Kurt for allowing us to have this.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And of course, Billy and Dean, I just like thanking you guys just because you're good people, my friends. So, well, this was 44 years. It's been a journey, to say the least. 1 year. What's that? I'm going to slide through some pictures. So this was 1966. This was on a film set with my dad. My family was there, and they needed some background people to fill in the show. And so this is, I was a little rugrat running around the set in Oregon. It was a show called The Way West. I don't know, it was big cast, Kirk Douglas, Robert Mitchum, Richard Widmark, Sally Fields, but Tom Miller. So this was, I wanted to show this picture because sports were so big in my life, so big. I'm there on the left, I'm the little guy. Always the smallest kid on the team, always, always, always. That was my brother, my older brother. So I'm playing against guys that size, and my uniform barely fit me. barely fit me. But again, you can see the bat was probably bigger than me. But little guy, loved sports, sports family. Dad played NFL football for the Rams. So he was big into sports, and great parents growing up, great parents. They were high school sweethearts. Had a very normal upbringing as a kid. And there I am, Roger Staubach. Again, 11 years old, littlest guy. So my dad always would go with me to get my uniform fit. So it had to be perfect, and my socks had to be perfect, the helmet had to fit, the shoes had to fit. He shined them every game day for me. His whole philosophy was, if you look good, you played good. And that was my dad. So you can jump in anytime. There we are.
That's it.
18 years old right there.
Tom's sister took this picture of us, and it emerged when Tom told her that he'd met back with me and she said, I think I have a picture. And this is 44 years later. Younger sister, I think I have a picture. So she texts that to us. We could not have been happier to see that. Isn't that fun? There's proof. That's back in, what, 77?
Yeah.
Yep.
She was beautiful as ever. So this is on a film set in Moab, Utah.
So just to go,
Yes.
so your dad was in
Well, my dad was in the
Hollywood
business
business
as a key grip. My brother, we're second generation, and my nephew is third generation. He's still working. My brother and I are both retired, and but this was in Moab, and that is called a Chapman crane. That is a piece of work. That is a 6-wheel drive. It had 1,000 pounds of mercury in that arm to counterlever when we got the operators and the camera on there. We're overhanging this cliff here, so it was a very, very good piece of equipment. That was me on the back on the bucket. So I'd throw it down to the guy who had a rope there, but use this equipment was one of the best, and it's still working today in the films. So.
And I just want to interject to say, our story is God's story.
Oh, yeah.
This is a God thing. Make no mistake. This is not perchance. This is not blind luck. God came into our lives and answered our prayers. But one of the ways you'll hear, I more than Tom brings up God, because I'm the analyzer. Tom's the easygoing one, right? And I'm the one figuring things out and in my own head going crazy. But this is called a Chapman crane, and I love God in his sense of humor. I went to Chapman College, so see, it was always a thing.
That's right. Little did I know.
See?
Right? This was in Minnesota on a show called Grumpy Old Men out of Paisley Park. I think it was called Wabasha or something like that, but that was me on the left there with my hat on backwards. It was probably in the 15th hour. I was tired, I was dirty, and you can see that camera. We had 1,000-foot magazines in that. We ran on film. Today it's pretty much all digital, but same lenses, same camera, same dollies, and it's the same kind of work, but tough, hard work. Hit the next one.
Yeah. And Tom talks, he's very humble about what he did for 30 years in this role. And every time we watch a movie, he reminds me, because he's like, watch that movement. When the person shooting the film would tell Tom where to go and Tom would be the one that steadily moves that 500-pound piece of equipment in, out, over. Unbelievable use of the talents God gave him. Football star, all kinds of things that you saw, but he's smart, he's strong, he has, just the feel and the wherewithal and the brains to just make it work for 30 years. I've just been so impressed with what I've learned that he's done.
A dolly grip is, what's funny about it, the best way I can explain it, if you're sitting in an intersection and there's 3 cars that come racing through and there's a big crash, and then you have to sit there and go, what happened first, what happened second? That was my job, that we'd rehearse a scene, and I'd have 20 moves and have to remember them all, and when to go, it wasn't something you went to school for. You didn't get a master's degree in it. It was all on the job, and a very tough job, and a lot of pressure. You had actors, you had producers, directors, breathing down your neck, and you had to perform. And if you didn't perform, you're on your way. So it was very intense. So this was my house.
This is Tom's house in Montana. So when we met, this is where he was. You were there about 5 years. Mm-hmm. He'd gone up fishing with friends, and as California is, he'd lived there for 30 years, but couldn't afford to retire there. So he thought, I'm going to go where I've gone for many years and fished, and bought this house and played golf, and he's right on a golf course. It's a lovely piece of property that I was able to visit last year on our honeymoon. Just a gorgeous home. Do you have another picture, I think? That
was off the front porch.
How's that for a front yard? Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Is that gorgeous, those mountains? Then you have.
But, the winters got the best of me out there. It was literally 7 months of winter, and it could snow every month it could snow. But it was a great little town, world-class for fly fishing, hunting, anything, off-roading, hiking. But the winters got the best of me. So along came Mary. And this was the river I used to hang out on, right in my backyard.
Madison, the world-famous Madison
River
in his backyard.
That ran into the Missouri River. So this was kind of the headwaters. And this is what it was all about, right there. That's a big German brown. These are all wild fish, and they're very smart. So you had to be on your game.
And this California beach girl, and Naples girl, this was one of the first pictures he showed me, and I just went, oh, Tom has changed. I'm not sure it's going to work.
Cowboy boots.
So proud of this picture that he was. Look at this fish, Mary. This is what I do. So,
that was one of the things
it's so cute.
When we first started talking, I said, yeah, I'll come down to Florida if you come up to Montana and fly fish. And she says, okay. But yeah.
I said, you come golf, I'll come learn how to fly fish.
So this was kind of me for about 2 years, sitting there wondering by myself, pondering, what am I going to do? Why can't I find a woman? Why am I by myself? And, it was long winters and had good friends out there, but, I was struggling.
February 22nd, your birthday, year, 2021?
Yeah.
Your friend Tony reached out, wished him a happy birthday. And Tony works in ministry actually in California, which is, again, God has his plan. No matter how we screw it up, no matter what things we do to get in his way, his plan will happen. I learned that. And so he texted, neither of Tom and I are on Facebook. I am like this much because some friends did it, and it's just not my venue, nor was it Tom's. And so in today's social media age, and we both had different area codes. Tom said he looked me up once on, on the internet and, found out what I was doing and was all impressed by my resume, and that was it. And I would always watch movies and look for the key grip, looking for Tom Miller, and we did this for years, not unknowing. But we weren't the types to reach out, and so his friend Tony was calling him saying, hey, Mr. Lonely, Mr. Montana Snowbound, what about that girl Mary that you dated back in college? And that started it. He's messaged her, me, and said, I'm a good friend of your BF in college. I'm like, for one thing, what's a BF? And then, who are you? So, girls are meant to be just, if anyone reaches out to you, you got to be careful, So he explained himself, and as soon as I said, who are we talking about here? I don't even have any BFs. So he said Tom Miller, and I'll tell you, just a wave of the loveliness of when we dated. We just dated kind of one college year. We don't even know how we broke up, if we even were going together. We just know that we enjoyed each other's time. And I heard his voice. I was on my way to go visit friends and have a little dinner and dance party, as we call it. And as soon as I got in the door, I'm like, oh my gosh, more animated than I typically am. And everyone's asking questions. And it was so crazy. And same with Tom. He just, as soon as he heard my voice, as soon as I heard his voice, it was amazing. It was just a download of how lovely it was way back when.
I can remember the first time I saw Mary. I was playing football, it was practice, and she came walking across with like 6 of the song leaders and stopped me in my tracks. And, it was love at first sight. I don't know about, was it with you?
And so, it was. Absolutely. Well, you saw the picture of Tom. You saw that hair. I fell in love with him. He just was gorgeous. And his blue eyes, are you kidding me? My mom would joke. She goes, and even years and years, she goes, hey, that Tom Miller, you remember that Tom Miller? She goes, good thing you never got together with him. I don't know who would have been in the mirror longer. Who would have gotten mirror time? Yeah. You or him?
Spent a lot of time on the hair.
I'll tell you, that hair.
Yeah.
And yes, I did, because I loved the quarterbacks. So Tom was a quarterback, or drummers, either one. So.
But it was, and we just had mutual friends. We just kind of hung out, and very casual, nothing,
This
crazy.
was the 70s, so
Yeah.
very innocent,
Yeah.
hanging out, with groups, and it was just.
Very simple.
We don't know. It was just like June came, the school year stopped, and we parted ways. It was very interesting. We don't even know why. So here's my story. My grandma and grandpa on the left, my mom's mom and dad, and then my dad's mom and dad. And I just bring this up because they just look so cute, and I love the old era. I was named after both grandmas, Mary, Christine, and I kind of have a little, how God he puts his fingerprint on all of us. And my grandma, Christy, my Swedish grandmother, I'm a baker, just like she is. And then Mary, who they called Molly, she was like a dancer, and she was very into, design, and we'd never met her. She passed before we were able to meet her, but, I just seemed to have my dad would always tell me I was a lot like his mother, and so anyway, I love that little picture of that. Swedish, my mom's whole side is Swedish, and my grandpa was Russian, and my Molly is Irish. So Russian Jew, actually, and Irish. I wish I had that Jewish frugality that everybody talks about, but I don't. My sister does. Right, Liz? Here's a picture I found. It was so fun going through all the pictures with my dad passing, and then my mom moved from one independent living to assisted living, so we had to look at all our pictures and kind of reorganize. And then with us moving and getting to know one another, we've had a great journey. So again, thank you to this church to just allow us to do this together. It's very meaningful for a first year of marriage. So this is my mom and dad. We were in a camper. I found a couple of the kids, so we were sitting around the table, but I just thought this was fun to show mom and dad. And then this was our house in California where I had most of my memories. My dad was in the Navy, and so we moved around a lot. And I got the gene of I have to move every 3 years. I don't know why I did that, but I didn't like it. I wanted a marriage, I wanted the white picket fence, I wanted the kids, now it's my turn to cry, and I never got it. And I always wondered why, but I'll tell you, we went to church all the time. My mom was Lutheran, and we always went to church. We bowled every Sunday after church. You know, God gave me so many things, but I didn't get that. And you know why? Because I told God, I can remember this like it was yesterday, when I was about maybe 20 or maybe even before I met Tom, I don't know when it was, but I made a conscious decision that God was not in charge of my love life, nor was he in charge of my finances. And what two things went for 40 years that I was struggling with? Love and abundance. I could make a paycheck and this and that, but I'll tell you what, as soon as I surrendered, those two things came in like just a windstorm, whatever the cliche is, amazing. So this is just a family shot. We've spent summers in New Jersey. Wildwood, New Jersey is where we grew up summers, no matter where my dad was stationed. And I liked this because I had my hands in the sand, and since I started playing volleyball, and I just like that beach picture. This is in California. There's our dog Inky, and I have a big turntable in front of me, and I just love that because my dad was Mr. Technology. Behind me is his pride and joy. He had a big turntable and a big reel-to-reel, and he just loved everything technology, and he was a great provider. Being in the Navy, just always provided for us, and my mom did as well, took us everywhere for all the activities we were in. I was a little mini bike rider. My sister and I was in ballet. I think I had braces at the time, so I would not smile, saved my life. Liz went on to gymnastics. I didn't do much with the dancing. And swim team, there's my brother and me with the same bodies, I think. We were in the Natadories, if anyone knows that about Mission Viejo, California. It's a pretty prestigious swim team, and softball. I was a pitcher and loved softball. My friend, I'm the tall one, my friend Jeanette, and we were in drill team. I just did everything. I was a song leader and kind of anything active. I was a producer. You know, I kind of thought if I'm good, if I do it well, God's gonna love me. And that was just my mentality. Always went to church, always loved God, and always journaled, which I saw when I moved to Naples as a string in my life, that I journaled, and I really didn't get it. High school, I was all proud of my awards. I was a badminton champion in California and played tennis, and so a lot of awards. And this was the girl he fell in love with. This was a Saddleback College song girl. So that was me
Beautiful.
in college.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And then we found two pictures that gave enough more proof that we were together in the 70s. We went to a Halloween party. Yeah. So I was a cat. I probably made everything I'm wearing because I love to sew. And Tom was a bum.
So I was looking at that picture going, how am I so much taller than you? You know? And she goes, well, you're on the step by the front door. And she was always right there, right in my eyes, you know, which I loved it.
And there's on the couch in California.
These just surfaced just not too long ago,
Look at that hair.
a few weeks ago.
Look at that hair.
The hair's never out of place, never.
Never. It was always like.
I would always be teased by my friends. I'd be sitting in the back seat of a car, and I say, hey, guys, could you roll the windows up? They're going, it's 100 degrees out. You know, it's blowing my hair around. Roll the windows up. So, I got teased about that forever.
Love it.
Donny Osmond.
That's right. So cute.
But I played, a star quarterback, and then baseball, and all the coaches want me to play baseball, and I started playing golf as a sophomore in high school, and people were like, golf wasn't cool back then, and for some reason I'd be carrying my clubs through the hallways, and I got teased by everybody, teachers, coaches, friends, and when we got out of high school, I had guys knocking on my doors going, when are we going to go play golf? And it was up to me to get the tee times and go out and play. Everybody got hooked on it, but anyway.
And if you had to do it again, you've said you wish you had continued that, right?
Well, I wish I would have pursued golf.
Yeah.
I had a passion for it. I loved it. But I was left-handed, and the equipment wasn't very good back in the 70s, not like it is now. But, I was self-taught. Everything was self-taught.
That's good.
No coaches. Couldn't afford to coach anyway, or a teacher. But
So, I found this picture. This was Saddleback College, so our volleyball team, our coach was like 4'0", and she had seen me as a song leader at 6 feet tall and just said, hey, have you ever played volleyball? And I said, well, no. And so she just recruited me, and that was the start of my career, if you will, and played there. Played at Chapman College, and we got all kinds of awards for our level, our division. We had a very small school, a very private school. So traveled around and did well. Anyway, that was my indoor career, just 4 years, and then I started playing on the beach. So that's my little cheesecake shot that I put on the front of my marketing material to get sponsors. And as well as, this was a shot that someone took. We had people taking pictures of us all the time. It was so cool. Of course, I didn't know they probably wanted a few dollars for the pictures. I didn't even think about it. So naive. But they would take pictures of us all the time and come and give us pictures the next week. Oh, I saw you play, and in Hermosa, here's some pictures. I saw you play. So great. It was a lovely sport way back when, and then it's now become, a moneymaker, and it's athletics at its finest. It's in the Olympics. But loved that shot, and went on to start my own business after, and all this time I'm just working, 9 to 5. I worked at anything that allowed me to play volleyball on the weekends. I was a pastry cook at Ritz-Carlton, but since they wanted me on the weekends, I quit. Who does that? So I let go of some jobs that, again, I look back and it would have been fun to establish that being a pastry cook. But I took the pastry talents and gifts that God gave me and started my own business. And, I'm not one of those people that reads the Bible incessantly and can quote scripture, and that's not me. And I say that to say that if that's not you, that's okay and there's hope. Because when we were on a road trip and I had this business in my mind, and I'm like, what's it going to be called? What's it going to be called? And clearer than the day, Sweet Mary's, call it Sweet Mary's. And I'm thinking, I'm anything but sweet. You don't know me, God, right? Full of shame, full of, hardly anything but sweet. But I'll tell you, that name, I just loved seeing it. I loved every cookie I baked, if you know biscotti. Anyway, that business just was lovely. Volleyball kept me out of trouble on the weekends. I didn't do the happy hour thing. Sweet Mary's kept me busier than busy. And anyway, God is very good at that. So I lost a job 2016 actually, right at Thanksgiving, and I was mortified. And I thought, what the heck am I going to do? And just went. I got very good at finding a job. There's a real art to it, and I knew how to do it. And God gave me that talent because I lost a lot of jobs. And it was very sad to me that I didn't have a direction. So that's my dad in that van up there. His last road trip was to drive to California, and we would drive tandem back here to Florida. He was so great. I couldn't believe that he did that with me. But when I lost the job, I had friends telling me, you said you might go to Florida and be with your family one day. Is now the day? And I'm thinking, it is the day. And I couldn't have sold my condo faster, had a garage sale, given everything to veterans, all these things. And as a single girl, I'm just like, people came out of the woodwork to help me. Unbelievable. At the last hour, everything, and I had my dad's trunk just measured to a T. I knew exactly what I was going to bring, and I thought it was going to be the most horrendous trip of my life. I thought, I can't follow my dad for 5 days. He's going to drive me absolutely nuts. It was glorious, I have to say. It was glorious. He knew exactly where we were going to stop. He had all the rules, so much safety. Like I said, he was a provider, and God protected me from so many things by giving me the family I grew up in. So come here to Naples, and that's Tom and I's first, he came out for the 8-day date just to check out who Mary was and me to check out who he was. And we went and played golf, which I think he was very impressed with that I played golf. But that whole, from 2017 to us meeting again was such a journey for me. And God finally had me in a place where he could talk to me because I didn't know anyone. Then I met, of course, since I prayed to have wonderful friends, I found them. They found me. I found volleyball to play. I found a church, which was further north at the time. Didn't find Naples Community Church until I had a job where, again, everywhere I went, I thought, oh, maybe I'll find my husband. Maybe I'll find a man there. Maybe I'll go. I was just born with optimism. And I just thought, maybe I'm going to find him. I'm going to dress my best. I'm going to be happy. Maybe he's there. So I had a job in sales, and I'd go to these houses. I'm like, maybe I'll find somebody. But lo and behold, who did I meet? Sonia and Gordon Jones. And they invited me to this church, and nothing has been the same since. And the first person I meet, of course, is the other 6-footer in the room, Dawn. But it was such a journey. Went to an inner healing. I don't know if any of you, I know I ask you guys to come to the 12 to 1 praying. When you come and hear other people pray, it's very powerful. And I was invited to come and hear, now a good friend of mine. It was a healing event at St. John Episcopal, and met a man who has been instrumental in my life, taking me through inner healing, through God, and opening up what God wants me to learn. Because as we know, we can't find the man or the woman unless we are the man or the woman first. And that's, I finally pointed at me before I pointed at where is he. It was, no, I want to be the woman that my man is attracted to. So I had my list of 19 things that was way different than the 20-year-old list, I'll tell you. And the first one, and it was 19, and for a person who's analytical, I was really bummed that it wasn't 20. And you know what I mean. But 19, again, God is there. He turned out, when I told Tom about the 19, turns out that 19 is one of Tom's favorite numbers, and he had 19 when he was a bike rider. Unbelievable. But the first one was, he will travel for me. Because I don't know about you girls, or mostly girls, when you go and you travel for that man, no more, no. He travels for you. You are the prize. You need to be adored. And I was never adored. I was married and divorced 3 times, and they never came back to say they were sorry and they adored me. And this one.
I called when we talked. We were talking. She goes, well, I go, I'd love to come down and see you. And she goes, well, when? I go, and it was, I think it was a Sunday.
It's a Saturday night.
Saturday, and I said, I'll be on a plane Monday. And I go, wait,
Check.
Tuesday. I have a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
And I was on the plane Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And I stayed out here for 8 days. Mm-hmm. Got introduced to this church, mm-hmm. all of her friends. Mm-hmm. It was, it's magical.
Yeah, it was a week that I had all these things planned. People were in town that weren't in town normally. We had this dinner party. We had this beautiful foundation event. Tom was like brought into the fold, and it was so easy for me. Nothing's easy for me, nothing, up until this. I'm always on edge. Am I looking perfect? Am I doing perfect? Am I doing? It's so the wrong way to approach life. I never had a safety net, never was making enough money, never had the right job, always searching. And so volleyball was my safe place, if you will. And then I found a safe place here with you all. And it's not at all insincere when I tell you how much I love you all, and that I can feel it from you. And you fill my bucket more than it ever has been. And now to have Tom. Thank you, Bruce. It really is God fulfilling our desires to find the perfect person for us. Now, is yours going to come back from 44 years? I don't know. God's good that way. Could be all kinds of things. But I have to say, too, my part was just journaling so much and getting it off my chest, good or bad, and concerns and all kinds of things. But the devil is trying to teach or trying to tell me I wasn't worthy and wasn't good enough and didn't do enough and all those things that we hear, whatever your, devil tells you. But just stay in the truth and have that hope. One of the Psalms that I had on my heart every day, and now that I look back, I'm thinking, boy, didn't that get answered, is Psalm 37, as you all know, trust in the Lord and do good, and you'll travel on a path of security. I didn't have enough security to even think about doing anything for anybody else. I always wanted to be a big sister, a big brother, but I just thought, I can't even take care of myself. And it was very sad for me to think about that. Delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Boy, did he. And with you, and with all the friends that I've made here, each and every one, every time. And commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. He will. He will act. Just living proof. So grateful. So grateful. So Tom's made such an indelible impression on our family. He got to know my dad really well before the wedding because Dad came here, and we always went to brunch. Dad loved him, and he made sure, what did you tell my dad?
Oh, that I'd take care of you the rest of your life. I'd treat you good and be a good husband.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, after my third divorce, my dad came to me, and God bless him, he just goes, I don't think you should be married anymore. And I'm like, no, I'm trying again. Nope. He just didn't want to see his little girl hurt again. So cute. So glad it was you. So that's one of our wedding pictures. Tom, I came down off this beautiful balcony. Joanne, our wonderful friend Joanne, whom you all remember, offered her home. And I came down this beautiful stairwell, and Tom came and got me, if you will, and we walked down. So many smiling faces. We loved it. And then we went on.
This was the honeymoon.
Our honeymoon was like 2 months because we had to
2
go
months.
sell your house and road trip.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was super fun, but this was in some caverns, the Lewis and Clark Trail. So beautiful, beautiful. And we just, we took our time going up, through the Panhandle, up into New Orleans, up and saw my mom in Kansas and sisters, and ended up in Montana. And she met all my friends up there. Great people, had a lot of fun. And the whole time going up, I'm like, I got to sell this house. Had no idea. And the furniture, and 90% of my furniture was bought by my friends. Mm-hmm. So it was easy. It was so easy. It was a blessing.
God just comes in when we ask him. Just ask, be specific. Yeah. It was a joy to see, because I didn't want to handle it.
Nothing planned. We totally winged it. Sold the house, got down here, and brought my truck with the little trailer behind it, mm-hmm. and that was that, and we started our new life together. Mm-hmm. Never looked back, never will look back. Tom's father passed a few years ago, but it was so darn cute to hear him say, because I was learning this, I didn't know even if his mother was, living, and we just were sharing all these things, catching up. My dad would say to me, he goes, that is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. If you don't marry her, you're an idiot. And the thing was we went our separate ways, and he was like, he wasn't mad at me or anything. He's just like, what happened? What happened with you two guys? So, Mom knew Mare, and sisters, brothers, we all knew each other. Yeah. And it was very brief, very quick. So it was like old home week, going up through Kansas and seeing his mom again, and then in Montana meeting his friends, and we hope to go to Montana often. This was, we went to, when my dad passed in November, Tom had a golf tournament in Puerto Vallarta, so this was a picture that we took there. And then Billy and Dawn did a Christmas concert, and they asked us to do the video. So what a better
or could there have been a better partner? Because I had been schooled on how to do it from April and Chip, and I was a nervous wreck back there. I did an okay job, but I can never do anything well enough for myself. So I was a nervous wreck. And then here I get a guy from Hollywood coming back there with me. So
Well,
I took a breath.
It was very difficult.
It was
You know,
good.
that little joystick, that thing is very touchy, and it was not easy. So we were both like, oh my God, okay, we're talking to each other and trying
was
to,
so-
okay, you ready to switch cameras? Okay.
It was so fun.
It was nerve-wracking.
It was so
It really
fun.
was.
Anyway,
It
so
really was.
Chris came back and snapped a picture of us back there. And then when my father passed
Sister.
in March, Elizabeth was here for that, of course. And as my mom said, that was on March 26th. She said, that's your anniversary. I said, March? And she goes, what's the 26th? And I thought, how lovely is that? So many things come together. And my mom just loves Tom because, again, my sister too, and we're just like doers, do. Mom, have you done this? How was lunch? Blah, blah, blah. And Tom is just, can I help you, Anita? Can I get anything for you, Anita? And whenever I hear my mom will call me, she goes, tell Tom I love him. Tom is so great. And she'll go on and on. How great Tom. It's so
Very
lovely.
sweet, very
It's so lovely. I just love that relationship. And there's our new house.
This is our new place here in North
and
Naples.
God is so good. He allowed me to buy a condo, which I never thought I would. And I have to just plug a word from God, and that's tithing. When I bought my condo, even my financial advisor was like, are you sure that's what you want to do? And I just was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this condo. I asked my dad if he wanted to pitch in. He was so generous. And all this money started coming my way, even though I wasn't making money at my sales, which I wanted to quit. And God would not let me quit. Jobs would come and go, and I go, ooh, that'd be perfect for me. God's like, nope, you're doing this, and you're going to hate it for a while. And money came my way. I bought this condo, and in my stomach for months, I'm like, I just got $50,000. I need to tithe on that. I need to do my part. And I would have never thought about this 20 years ago. And sure enough, I wrote the check that month. I literally was going to be fired because I was not producing. I produced 3 times. 3 times what I had been, and did nothing differently. Nothing. Not one thing. And I kept up that sales level since then, since that tithing. I mean, I can't say it was direct, but I'll tell you, I can say it was direct. It was something that God prompted me to do. I did it. And so the reason I say that is I was able to have that condo and get some security and feel like as Pastor said, not that I'd arrived, but that God allowed me some abundance. And I just thought, I'm going to meet. And then I would talk with my healer and just say, I'm going to meet him. I feel like it's close because I feel like a new woman. I feel like things are happening. And prayers are being answered right and left. So this big prayer is going to be answered. I just know it. And sure enough, and that's what Gary said. He said, that God's got a plan, and you're not going to screw it up. So, he's going to get you to that level where you're going to just fall right into his plan. And sure we did. But I was able to sell that condo, and the prices of everything have gone up, so I was able to sell it high. His Montana home. And so we bought this lovely home. And we're upgrading it a little bit, and I'll tell you, we just feel like we're so very blessed every single day, right? We just love it. We love it here in Naples so much. And this was a beautiful shot taken at the wedding, and we just wanted to end with it as it's kind of our, we're off into the sunset, starting our life, and boy, what a year of growth and learning it's been, and right?
Yes.
We love each other so much. So Tom brought this picture too, just before questions. Tom brought this big picture of one of his films. What was this, honey?
This was in 1987 in Bristol, Vermont.
Oh.
And this was my dad, this big guy, and this was
this
me
one?
here.
That's you.
So it was my first movie, and had the pleasure to do it with my dad, standing by my side. giving me orders.
Learning from the best.
Being on time. He said, be
awesome.
on time, work hard, and you always have a good job. And he was so right. I showed up on time, and I worked hard, and never had a problem finding a job, ever.
So good,
Never.
good.
But
And
thank
since
you.
Tom brought show and tell, I brought a couple of things from volleyball just to show off a little bit. So my 1989 Pro Beach Volleyball Tour pamphlet, I was featured in the book, which was pretty exciting for me. I hadn't even made it yet. It was one of those things. And anyway, it's such a big part of my life. I don't like to brag about it or anything, but it was just, God gave it to me gave me a talent, and if we can find our purpose, Tom and I are going to make a big splash in the world. We've got a lot of great years in front of us. We're so
Well,
very blessed.
Both very healthy and active, and we want to continue. And we're so blessed,
This
you know,
church.
to have this church and all you people. So
Yeah.
thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. We love you. Thank you.
And thank you very much, both of you. And now it's time for you all to participate. But we'd like to have some questions. And I'll bring the mic around.
It's all right if you don't have any.
Wait a minute, song leader?
Yes.
I know about this and you didn't tell me song leader?
Yes. No, we didn't sing. We didn't sing.
Okay, wait, I'm thinking, because
No, we were, the way I
sorry, I thought you were,
You're
okay,
so
I'm thinking,
funny.
wait, I know you, I've been praying for you, I've been praying to Tom, was it the,
You didn't hear me sing Happy Birthday the month you were gone? Oh my gosh.
no, well, okay, all right, so
Surprise,
now
everyone's
I
back.
feel a little bit better, but I do want to
Song leader.
thank
Okay,
you so,
that's funny.
first of all, thank you so, your transparency, both of you, and you are personally an answer to prayer for me, and I want to thank God for you just bringing, I'm amazed at how God is working in and among our church family. I'm just hearing and seeing so many things, and I just so appreciate your transparency, both of you, for family, and we are family, and we're learning the good times, the bad times, and I just love to see, I'm so grateful that you planted the seed, because if it wouldn't have been for both of you, you would never have been here, and God answered a prayer and used you, and I remember we were sitting having lunch, a late lunch, and you were telling me, yeah, a guy I met, I think he's going to come down this. And I mean, like, God moves so fast. I mean, it's amazing. And just another thing, too, I know we have some of my dearest friends, longest friends, Reed and Sandy, who've been coming here, they're celebrating today as well, 57 years.
Oh,
so, I mean,
congratulations.
it's a good day.
It is.
God's doing stuff in our family, and I'm just so grateful that you are here. So.
Thank you. And Wayne and Willie, 7 years. A lot of people have come up to me and told me how, that June is a very special month for them. Tuesday is yours, 28th.
Thank you guys so much. Tom, were you gripping in any movies that we might be aware of?
Well, Grumpy.
Gripping or groping? Yeah. It's
No, I was Dolly Grippin. Broken Arrow, which was a John Travolta movie. Starship Troopers, Enemy of the State, and then did a lot of TV. Did X-Files for 4 years. And then I did CSI Miami for 9 of the 10 years, which was really epic because TV is usually one and done, or went 9 seasons on one show. And really the only reason I stayed on that show because we didn't do any night shoots. Nights were just a nightmare. And we usually went 12, 14 hours. So. And a lot of it was in Long Beach, which was close to my home in Dana Point. And, but a lot of commercials, few rock videos. Learned real quick not to do rock videos. Real quick. It was crazy. But commercials were tough. You're usually short-manned and worked hard. But yeah, and it was all the same work. TV, motion pictures, commercials, all of it, same equipment, same everything. So,
Over here.
Hi. Great job, this is beautiful, and thank you for sharing. You were talking about 19 things on your list, Mary. Did you want to share anything else?
I tried to find my journal,
Oh, couldn't
but
find it.
with us moving and it's just a pile of rubble at our house right now. I literally tried, but one was to travel for me.
Yes, that was your number one.
And he had to adore me. I wanted that. I want to be
Very nice.
adored by my husband. It wasn't so much personal, like, like when I was 20, he has to have this height or this build or this anything, but just easy smile, easy temperament, because I can be too strong, and being 6 feet tall, it comes across even stronger. And being alone and having to change the light bulb and carry everything all by yourself, you just get this way. And I thought I'd scare, and I did scare, quite a few people away, now, unbeknownst to me, which was part of the shedding and the inner healing. Because when Tom met Gary, Gary just said, you probably wouldn't have liked Mary a year ago. You wouldn't have known her. She wouldn't have let you in. There's a lot going on, a lot of onion peeling. And no, it's hard to understand because I look so perfect, but if you only knew, right? As we all are, right? I'm a mess, I still am. And I'll tell you, I went through a transformation even literally 2 weeks ago, because I feel like I'm picking at Tom because that's who I am. Well, that's not who you are, Mary. You shouldn't be doing that. And my heart just literally transformed. I don't even think about anything anymore. God is so good. You ask and you get. I asked for good friends. Guess what I got? Good friends. I'm telling you. So my list of 19, maybe I'll try to bring it in sometime if I can find it. But and then Gary married us too. Gary's the pastor, and I keep introducing. He's a healer for 30 years. He knows what he's doing. Just channels what God wants you to know. But he did a funny thing at our wedding. Had a little cap with 19 on it, and God's good like that. He brings it all together. He likes numbers. 7, and I don't even know all the numbers. But so anyway, I'll try to find that list of 19. But Tom's it. He's it right there. Number 1 was a godly man. Yes, thank you. That's right. That's right. Tom prays at every meal, and he's not even comfortable doing it. I brought him in and said, hey, I would pray, and he just goes, I'm going to do this. And I just thought, oh my gosh. He prays at every meal, regardless. And when we're out at a restaurant, people come over to us all the time and say, I love how you guys just prayed. And we're being little witnesses, we're doing our part, but yeah. Yeah, so great. Love him so much.
I was just
Liz,
going to say,
don't,
no.
my sister.
No, I didn't.
I'm kidding.
No, I was in the home, and brother and sister were kind of off doing their own thing. So Tom would come over, but we never really had any.
you were that little sister,
Yeah.
that little
Yeah.
getaway.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, when you came last year, you guys had your long week, and then Mom and I met you for lunch. This was meant to be. You guys were holding hands under the table, and I've never seen you happier. It was a long time coming, but it was meant to be. And another thing is, when we were cleaning out my dad's house, Tom had mentioned, just because of my dad being a Navy pilot, he had worked on a film, and he found something in my dad's house which brought it full circle. Yeah. Tell us about that.
What,
The aircraft carrier?
oh, the aircraft carrier. Well, the aircraft carrier was the same aircraft carrier. I did a show called The Flight of the Intruder. Ray King made note about this. Is Ray here? Being a Navy aviator. But anyway, it was a Hollywood movie about the A6 intruder. And I went out to sea on this ship, and it was the USS Independence, and her dad had a model, a mock-up of this model of this ship, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my goodness. So I took it, it's in our house, and it's gonna be on display. It's gonna be part of the house, but it was so interesting the way it worked.
You loved a lot of those memories that my dad had and collected.
Yeah.
They're now at our house, yeah. It's nice. I love that. They would have been lost, I think.
Tom, I know you're an avid golfer, and I enjoyed seeing the picture of Mary as a golfer. Just wondered how that fits in your life.
He's
There's
my coach.
Well,
He's-
nothing I like better than go play golf with my beautiful wife and teaching her. But the game of golf is, you know, if you go out and play, you're going to be away from house for 6 hours. I just soon have her by my side when I'm playing golf. She loves the game. She's going to be good at it. It's a very difficult game. But I thank you, Richard, for that wonderful book you gave me. That guy's a rock star himself, trust me. But thank you.
Love your story. It's so many similarities with Willie and my story. But after being single for a long time, what's your biggest single adjustment in your first year of marriage? Coming together as singles, coming together as married. What's your biggest adjustment?
Having someone see me with no makeup and not caring. You know, it was amazingly fluid, and I was shocked, and that's how I knew it was the right thing. I would like to say I'm the same person. It took me the longest, I was going to say, to let Tom do things, right? And he's such a doer, and I had to just really stop. And he probably thought, why she asked me to do this stupid thing? But I really had to stop and say, would you do this? And I had to start being the woman, feminine woman that God made me to be, and just allow and step back and let him be the leader. That I think was the hardest. And I'm still learning that. I can't say it at a year. I'm perfect at it, you know, but.
That's a tough one for me. It was, you know, it was very easy. It was a very easy transition for me. I thought moving to Montana, I'd like being by myself. Boy, was I wrong. But very easy transition. But the love that she had for me and I had for her, everything was easy. But we're still learning about each other, and we go and see Gary every week. We're on the right path, and we both know it. We have so much to be thankful for. Yes.
One question I think we all talked about, I think others would be interested in, is your similarity in your background to Pastor Kurt.
Well, I was going to talk about that, but I kind of got introduced the same way as Pastor Kirk did. There was a thing in Southern California called Young Life, and that's what I got introduced to that when I was a junior in high school, and it was just great fellowship. It usually was, well, with me, it was a coach. One of our coaches we'd meet at their house, and then, you know, we'd be 30, 40 of us. There'd be girls there, which is kind of cool. We'd sing some songs, read some scriptures, and then we had these camps we went to in the summertime. But that what introduced me, because my mom and dad never took us to church. We weren't church people. So that's kind of how I got started. and going to Woodleaf and all the places up in, we probably crossed paths. I bet you anything we did. But Pastor Kurt's quite a bit, older than I am. So. A lot. But we could have crossed paths in one of those camps, Young Life camps. But that's what introduced me. I gave my heart to the Lord at 17 years old, and it was powerful, very powerful. Yep.
Thank you. You guys have been just fabulous. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Thank you all. Means a lot for us to have you here. Just thank you very much. And feel free, eat all the food, no calories
That's
in
right.
church.